Can you introduce yourselves and tell us what you do?
Sure. So my name is Michael Egdell. I'm the product manager at TISSL. What does that mean is, well, I've got a wide scope of things. So I work very closely with our development team, and I work very closely with our sales and marketing team, and I look after our product and our various submodels. So essentially, from development to launch to advertising to marketing, I kind of have to get involved in
A finger in many
process.
pies.
That's the term I was looking for. Thank you.
Welcome. And Daisy?
I'm Daisy. I work at Black Rock Restaurants. I look after everything food and beverage pretty much. All the EPOS system, stock system, ordering suppliers. So that's me.
Very nice and welcome. Thank you for coming. Just very quickly, I just want to do a quick show of hands to kind of do a pulse check. Who in the room feels confident their current tech setup is saving them time and actually doing a good job for them? Put your hands in the air. Wow. Oh, that's pretty depressing. So I'm going to ask the other answer. Who feels like they could do better? Yes. Okay, and it's a common theme. We're having conversations with lots of people at Tech on Toast about this. There's a common theme in the industry where there's a lot of untangling of tech going on. But we're going to get into it and have a little chat with these guys and see if we can help you. So we're going to be talking about doing more with less. And we're going to start looking at some kind of what's actually working. And we'll start with Daisy. Where have you seen the biggest operational impact in the last 12 months around your technology, or where are you having the biggest wins?
Well, TISSL is our EPOS system. And
Got that in quick.
I think it's really to do with the things that TISSL released to improve the EPOS system, to make things like everything operational easier, even from like the menu staging and things like that. We've just moved over to have everything integrated on our pay. So I think it's things like that the systems that you pay for to have in your business, what the releases that they've come out with to make your life easier operationally.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you guys, that's what you're constantly looking for. You're on a feedback loop, looking to kind of make sure. Have you seen anything kind of where you're driving the biggest impact at the moment?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned payments, actually, because payments, as probably you are aware, is quite massive in our industry at the minute, and obviously that does not separate TISSL at all. We've now got embedded payments, TISSL Pay, but with that, I think we've got a really good opportunity. It's allowed us to do a lot more with not just integrated payments, but with, for example, we've got embedded reporting, we've got a refund journey now that you can do card not present, and we're adding things like pay by link. And it's all tailored for hospitality as well, all supported and developed under one roof. And it's supporting our newest product, TISSL Swift, which you can go and demo in the corner over there, but that is a handheld POS device on the PDQ machine that should really have an impact on your restaurant floors.
And Daisy, what about practical tech? Obviously, there's issues with staffing. We were talking about chefs before, weren't we? How much we love them. And there's always problems with kind of filling those gaps. I suppose, how is your tech stack or how is your technology helping kind of support that side of things to really help, not just replace people, but support them?
Yeah, I think really it's obviously having an easy system to use, something that's laid out, simple for taking an order and things like that for the guys that are on the floor. But I think with management, just having an easy cash up at the end of the night, something that's really simple to fill in, that's not going to take you to not there till 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to work out where the cash is. I just think things like that make it easier.
Yeah, I think with you guys, obviously the two main cost centers are food and labour that you're worried about. But has your opinion shifted to kind of ROI based around, I suppose, retention, consistency, kind of retaining people in your business and customers?
Yeah, I think the cost element never goes away.
Obviously, yes.
But yeah, I think we always want to make sure that the team's life's easier, the customer's journey doesn't get affected by issues with whatever technology we're using, and we just want the team's life to be easy. We want them to come to work and be able to give good customer experience and not be affected by the technology that they use.
Yeah, it's true. I think teams are actually asking for better tech now, right? This new generation is looking for it. And same question for you on ROI, because one of the things I'm always asked to do from some of our partners is prove ROI on this stuff we're helping implement. How do you do that at TISSL? How do you kind of focus on that ROI and make sure people are getting return on investment?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're a business, we've got our own risks, opportunities and issues, but we do really have to be in tune with our customers' ROIs as well. It has a direct impact on us and what we're focusing on. So it's always good to hear Daisy and other people's kind of focuses on their ROIs and if they're chasing opportunities or tackling risks or preventing issues. It really does shift how we're looking at things. So for example, if you're chasing an opportunity in loyalty to get bums on seats, or a new system that's going to help you speed up efficiency, then that's also where we need to be kind of attuned as well. We can't ignore that because that drives our customer demand. And where you guys think about the customers, bums on seats, we have to think about you guys because you're our customers and your experiences.
Yeah, it's a three-way attack, right? Because you've got to worry about the people that are physically at the end of the tech, plus the customers these guys are trying to deliver.
We're just warriors. We just worry all the time.
And as these people proved before when they were talking about, when we asked about the tech stacks, not everybody's happy, right? And part of the issue, I think, sometimes when you're implementing new technology, wherever it might be, is adoption and actually just getting the team to get involved, use it, and I call it sweat your tech, actually get what you want out of it. How are you kind of focused on that in your business? How do you kind of, you've got 6 sites now, 5 sites?
Soon to be 6.
Oh, was I meant to announce that? Sorry. But yeah, how do you kind of keep the guys engaged and making sure they're using the tech correctly?
I think a lot of it is to do with training. Obviously, when we implemented TISSL 3 years ago, there was training then, but obviously the turnover of staff in hospitality is always fun. And we just make sure that that's implemented in induction, or if I can see that there's more mistakes happening, voids or whatever from reporting, then we just go through and do a refresher on the training, make sure everyone fully understands it.
Are they asking, are the younger guys kind of, how intuitive does the tech need to be for these guys? As in, do you feel like they're kind of, do they complain, not about TISSL, but do they complain about not having the best tech at their disposal sometimes maybe? Or I'm not talking about POS, but just across the board, is there ever that kind of, oh, we had this at our last place, you haven't got it here?
I can't say that I found that from speaking to anyone on the floor.
Politically correct, well done, but that's fine. Same question to you, really, because you have to build this. So the feedback loop you're in, you have to make sure. So to drive adoption, obviously, it's the operator's job to make sure that people kind of buy into it, understand why you bought it, and help roll it out. But you guys have to build it so it is intuitive and it is user friendly. How much of that are you dragging back up from the feedback loop from new customers on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of key customers that we speak to regularly that continuously give us feedback. It can be a little bit overwhelming at sometimes, but it's always good. There's no such thing as bad feedback. And to get people to adopt it, I think there is a little bit of selling it to them, no matter what angle you're coming on, whether that's you're a restaurant manager and you've got a new bit of software, or you're training a new customer who's onboarded to use your system. You really have to understand, firstly, kind of like the benefits and the value it's going to bring and what it's going to bring to them. And you really have to be able to kind of translate and explain that to them. It's also, I find, finding a champion or a leadership, someone who's on board with the system, like a GM or an ops manager, getting them to really lead by example, especially on the restaurant floor when things are busy and you're just looking for a shortcut. If they can see the ops or the GM, utilizing the system correctly and getting the most out of it, and it's making their lives easier, I mean, it doesn't take, they're going to start copying it, aren't they? So leading by example.
My chefs would tell me it's all about making their life easier. Is that not right? That's all they want. And there's a question here, add more, integrate better. And if you had to choose, Daisy, would you rather invest in a new platform, just ignore you with TISSL for a second, or would you double down on making existing tech work hard together? Because everything's new and shiny, right? From an operator's point of view, you see a lot of stuff on websites, people cold calling you, I'm sure, dropping into the sites. Which way would you rather sit?
I think Michael probably knows my answer to this question. I would want to make sure that the integrations with everything that we use was 100% before investing in anything else. Because until that's right, why try and bring on something else? That's just what we found. And making sure that all works correctly.
And how I presume you're having constant conversations. Yeah, it feels like you are. Feels like that's the feedback loop. And how do you because you've got to work with legacies in that scenario then, where a customer's telling you, look, we like your product, but we have these other products we want to work with. You guys then working on how do you manage the legacy side of integrating into these older products, I suppose, that people might already have?
Yeah, for us, it's a continuous game of evaluation. So we are constantly listening to our customers, seeing what they're using, seeing what they use it for, Can our system do that? No. What other systems are out there? What's popular with our other customers? What we've seen work, what we've seen hasn't worked. And when you have existing customers or existing partners and tech and integrations that you work with at the moment, it's, again, a continuous evaluation of, is this still up to scratch? Is it working as expected? Has things changed? You know, because you can integrate and set up a working partnership with someone 2 years down the line. If you've not revisited that, a lot's going to change in 2 years, especially in, you know, the restaurant industry where progress happens very quickly.
And I was going to say, there's a mixture of people in the room today, partners and operators. Daisy, how important is the relationship? Because I think in you know, like the veg guy who comes to the back door every week and you know him really well, he knows everybody in the city, he helps you out on a number of things. If we get to the point where these guys actually have to be like the veg guy and actually are helping you out, and that, how important is that relationship? Not comparing you to the veg guy. How important is that relationship for you above the tech?
No, really, really important. I think, I know I keep talking about TISSL, but like, we've built that relationship over the past 3 years where, and some of it isn't to do with anything from TISSL's end, but it's to do with another system that we use. And these guys have been amazing communicating with them to try and fix the issue. So I'm not like the middle person anymore. So it's really important.
Yeah, I think relationship is changing actually between, I think, the tech suppliers and the operators, to the fact where there's an understanding that actually there is that hard yard you've kind of got to do to build those relationships to make things last. We're flying through this. So I just wanted to literally look at the future, Daisy, as we're looking out across London here, this beautiful day. What's the next big thing you think your team's going to need, I suppose, to keep you kind of lean, and as you open number 6, as you go into a bigger business, what do you need to keep you lean?
Well, TISSL Swift might be a conversation.
You haven't seen it. You're the payroll.
I need Michael to sort out some problems for me with another system. So, but no, it'd be things like that, I think, and just making sure all integrations work.
Yeah, integrations are as key as the main product. I will have to say now, if you don't have a tech stack that's working together correctly, the impact it has doesn't just stop at that one system. You know, it kind of spreads. So I will 100% agree that the integrations and how the tech stack works as a whole is something you really need to keep in mind.
Is that getting easier for the operators in the room? Is that becoming something that's for a tech partner to deal with, to tackle now? Is that becoming easier to fix these kind of the more legacy, I suppose, the older integrations, kind of making sure is with the advent of AI and everything else that's coming, is it going to make it quicker and more seamless for us? Come on, tell us the truth.
Oh, it's a double-edged sword, that one, because yes and no, because I think communications with our partners and with different technologies out there with integrations has never been easier to access and get in contact with. But also with technology changing, with the way you use it changing, with the goals of all the different tech parties being slightly different, that could also be a good challenge. So I think start with the communication, make sure your communication's there, build the relationships with your tech partners who you need to, and then kind of work your way down into the nitty-gritty integration itself.
Lovely.
If you don't have a good relationship with that, you know, with that partner, then it's
not going to slow it down, are they?
Yeah.
Right, okay, good. We've got some questions here. Thank you, audience. I don't know who they're for, so I'm just going to read it and then you can describe. Have you ever retried a piece of tech that looked... retired? It says, have you ever retired a piece of tech that looked great on paper but didn't work in real life? And what did you learn from that experience? I've got that one for you, Daisy. Is there anything you bought in previously, you don't have to name it, that you thought looked great, this will solve all our problems, and it didn't?
Yes. Which is why we changed our EPOS system and stock system, etc. We found, in particular, having multiple sites, it was quite hard to keep it clean and tidy, and didn't necessarily do what it said on the tin.
I guess that was an obvious question. Okay, good. And how do you justify tech spend when benefits aren't purely financial? So obviously sometimes a tech supplier might say, this is the price, but the reality is that what you're getting might be a communication tool, or it might be something that isn't directly impacting, or you can't connect the dots directly to the bottom line. How do you justify that, I suppose, when you're buying that kind of tech?
So one thing that my company has invested in was Tenzo, and it was just to have a platform where everything just went into one, so you weren't having to log into certain different systems just to get one answer. And that's definitely been handy for general managers, head chefs if they log in, and the owners and the directors, because it's all in one place. So there's things like that.
Yeah, it just makes me laugh because problems in hospitality, I think, are evergreen. They never change, and chefs are definitely one of them. Okay, any chefs in the room? We should check that first. Right, last one. How can you tell when your tech stack is too complicated? I think we'll start with you there.
That's a very good question, actually.
It's by anonymous.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm looking around in the audience and trying to like see who it is. How do you tell if the tech stack is too complicated? Well, firstly, do you know what you wanted to achieve? That's the question. Are you actually able to do what you set out to do with the tools at your disposal, with the tools that you've got? If not, what are those reasons? It could be complicated, but being complicated is quite vague. So it could be complicated for another reasons. It could be complicated that people don't know how to use it. It could be that it's not working properly. It could be financially complicated. So it's really identifying what tech stack have you got? Is it working for you? Where is it not working? Why is it complicated? And just simply, are you able to do what you want to do?
Yeah, it's a bit like Daisy's example before. She just said that it just wasn't working for us. And I think sometimes operators are great at avoiding problems. They kind of work their way around them. So they'll find an issue and kind of for now we'll fix it our own way, and then eventually it becomes too big a problem not to deal with. So look, brilliant. We had 20 minutes. We've hit it on the nose. You two are pros. If there's any more questions from the audience who haven't been able to ask on Slido, please raise your hands. No, they're all very well behaved. Is everyone drinking yet, or is this just it's very dry? Okay. All right. Round of applause for your panelists. Thanks very much, guys. And we'll be back again shortly.